Alright, let's get right into it. Ever look at those YouTubers, those creators, those people in your own life who just seem to have it all together? They wake up early, they hit their deadlines, they crush their goals, and they never ever seem to lose focus or fall off the wagon. You sit there scrolling through their feed, watching their highlight reel, and you think, wow, they must be so lucky. Or maybe you tell yourself, they just have more willpower than I do. I'm here to tell you right now that you are wrong. It is not luck. And it is not some magical inborn trait that you either have or you don't. It's discipline. And in this video, I'm sharing 7 easy, and I mean self-discipline tips that will help you stay consistent, build that mental toughness you admire, and create habits that actually, finally stick. Let me be very clear about something. This isn't about shaming yourself or feeling bad about where you are right now. We've all been there. You have a brilliant idea for a video, you get all excited, you buy the gear, you write half a script, and then life happens. The energy fades. That initial burst of motivation disappears and the project just sits there, collecting digital dust in a folder on your desktop. It's a cycle that so many of us get trapped in, and it feels terrible. It makes you question yourself, your abilities and your dreams. But what if I told you that the problem isn't you? The problem is your approach. The problem is you've been trying to use motivation, which is garbage, instead of building a system. If you have ever, and I mean struggled with procrastination, if you've felt that sinking feeling of knowing what you'd be doing, but being completely unable to start, you are in the right place. If you are the king or queen of starting new things but never ever finishing them, then you need to stick around for this. I am not here to give you another rah-rah motivational talk that feels good for 5 minutes and then vanishes. That's not what we do here. We are talking about practical, simple, science-backed strategies and tools. These are ways to build better habits that you can literally start using the second this video is over. No more waiting for the right time. The right time is now. So, get ready to take some notes. I want you to lean in and really listen, because what I'm about to share with you has the power to fundamentally change how you approach your work, your goals, and your life. We're going to break down the wall of resistance brick by brick. We're going to make it so easy to get started that your brain won't even have time to talk you out of it. This is about building a foundation for success, not just for YouTube, but for anything you want to achieve. It's about taking back control from your feelings and putting your dreams in the driver's seat. Let's build that discipline together. Okay, let's dive into our very first strategy. And it is arguably the most important one because it's the foundation for everything else. It's called Start Tiny. I know it sounds almost insultingly simple, right? You have these huge ambitious goals for your YouTube channel. You want to hit 100,000 subscribers, you want to post 3 high-quality videos a week, you want to build a massive community. And I'm telling you to start tiny? Yes, because your brain is wired to resist big, scary, overwhelming changes. When you tell yourself, I'm going to work out for an hour every day, your brain immediately throws up 1,000 excuses. It's too hard, you're too tired, you don't have time. It's a defense mechanism. But what if you told yourself to just do 1 push-up? This is the core concept of what James Clear calls atomic habits. The idea is that real lasting change comes from the compound effect of hundreds of small, seemingly insignificant decisions. It's about making progress that is so small, so laughably easy, that you can't possibly say no. Forget about motivation. Motivation is unreliable, it comes and goes. We are building a system that doesn't require motivation. We're making the action so small that it bypasses your brain's resistance entirely. Think about it. Can you really argue with doing just 1 push-up? Can you really say you're too busy to write just 1 single sentence for your next video script? Of course not. It's too easy to fail at. This is not about the 1 push-up. This is not about the 1 sentence. It's about becoming the who shows up. Every time you do that 1 push-up, you are casting a vote for being a person who exercises. Every time you write that 1 sentence, you are casting a vote for being a writer, a creator. You are building an identity. The action itself is secondary to the habit of showing up. You are rewiring your brain to see yourself as someone who is consistent, someone who follows through. And that, my friend, is where the real transformation begins. It's not about the immediate result. It's about the long-term identity shift that these tiny actions create. So I want you to take your big, scary YouTube goal, and I want you to shrink it down. What is the absolute smallest 2-minute version of that habit? If you want to edit video every day, your tiny habit isn't edit for an hour. It's open the editing software and make one cut. That's it. If you want to script a video, your tiny habit is open the document and write the title. The goal is simply to start. Because what you'll find, more often than not, is that once you get over that initial hump of resistance, it's much easier to keep going. The one push-up turns into 5. The one sentence turns into a paragraph. You just needed to make it easy to begin. Let's get even more practical with this start tiny concept. I want to give you a tool you can use right away, and it's called the 2-minute rule. The rule is simple. When you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. That's it. Any goal or habit can be scaled down into a 2-minute version. Read a book every night becomes read 1 page. Study for my exam becomes open my notes. Run 3 miles becomes put on my running shoes and walk out the door. You see how this works? We are not focusing on the outcome, we are focusing on the starting ritual. We are making the beginning of the process the easiest part of the entire equation. Think about your YouTube workflow. Where do you get stuck? For a lot of people, it's the blank page. The blinking cursor on a new script document is terrifying. It represents all the work you have to do. So, apply the 2-minute rule. Your goal isn't write the entire script. Your new goal is write for 2 minutes. Set a timer on your phone for 120 seconds and just write. It doesn't have to be good, it can be a brain dump of terrible ideas. The quality does not matter. The only thing that matters is that for those 2 minutes, you are doing the thing you said you were going to do. You are showing up. The magic of the 2-minute rule is that it helps you master the art of showing up, which is the most critical part of any new habit. You have to standardize before you can optimize. You can't improve a habit that doesn't exist. So many of us get bogged down in trying to figure out the video idea or the workout plan or the way to study. We get stuck in planning mode and never get to the doing mode. The 2-minute rule pulls you out of your head and pushes you into action. It proves to you on a daily basis that you have what it takes to get started. Once you've established the habit, once showing up feels automatic, then you can improve it. After you've consistently put on your running shoes every day for a week, maybe you start walking to the end of the block. After you've successfully written for 2 minutes every day, maybe you push it to 5 minutes. You build on the momentum you've created. But you must earn the right to do more by first being consistent with less. Stop trying to build a skyscraper on day 1. Just lay a single perfect brick. Start with 2 minutes. One of the biggest enemies of discipline is the all-or-nothing mindset. I see this all the time. You tell yourself, okay, today I'm going to film and edit my entire video. It's going to take 6 hours, but I'm going to do it. Then, something comes up. A meeting runs long, a kid gets sick, you just don't have the energy. And because you can't do the full 6 hours, what do? You do nothing. You throw your hands up and say, well, I guess I'll try again tomorrow. You let the perfect become the enemy of the good, and as a result, you make zero progress. This is a trap that keeps so many talented creators stuck in a cycle of inaction. Starting tiny is the antidote to this perfectionist trap. It reframes your definition of success for the day. Success is no longer film and edit the entire video. Success is now open the camera app and film for 2 minutes. Success is import the footage into the timeline. By setting the bar incredibly low, you make it almost impossible to fail. Even on your worst day, your most tired, uninspired, chaotic day, you can probably find 2 minutes. You can find the energy to write 1 sentence. You can find the strength to do 1 push-up. And that small win is infinitely more powerful than the big fat 0 you get from the all-or-nothing approach. This is about building momentum. Think of it like pushing a giant, heavy flywheel. The first few pushes are incredibly difficult. It takes a ton of effort to get it to move even an inch. But if you keep pushing consistently, even with small shoves, it starts to turn. And then, it turns a little faster. And soon, the momentum of the wheel starts to work for you. Each tiny action, each 2-minute habit is a small push on your personal flywheel. It might not feel like much in the moment, but the cumulative effect is massive. You are building unstoppable momentum that will eventually carry you through the days when you don't feel like it. So, I want you to officially give yourself permission to do less. Let go of the pressure to be perfect, and to do it all at once. Embrace the power of good enough for today. Your goal is not to be a hero every single day. Your goal is simply not to score a 0. Did you show up? Did you cast a vote for your new identity? Did you make 1% progress? If the answer is yes, then you won. You pushed the flywheel. You laid another brick. That is the true path to building discipline that lasts. It's not about grand gestures. It's about the quiet consistency of starting tiny. Okay, so you've embraced starting tiny. You've defined your 2-minute version of the habit you want to build. But now the question is, are you actually going to do it? It's not enough to say I'll write one sentence for my script at some point today. That's too vague. Your brain loves specific instructions. This brings us to our second strategy for building discipline. Create a trigger. A trigger, also known as a cue, is a specific signal that tells your brain it's time to perform a certain habit. And the most effective way to create a new trigger is to leverage the habits you already have. This is a technique called habit stacking. The formula is incredibly simple. After current habit, I will new habit. Your current established habits are already hardwired into your brain. You don't have to think about brushing your teeth or making your morning coffee, you just do it. These actions are automatic. By linking your new desired habit to one of these existing ones, you are essentially piggybacking on the momentum that's already there. You're inserting your new tiny habit into a pre-existing neural pathway, making it far more likely that you'll actually follow through. It's like finding the perfect spot in your daily routine to seamlessly slot in that new behavior. Let's think about what this looks like for a YouTuber. Your current habits might be things like waking up, making coffee, checking your email, eating lunch, or getting ready for bed. These are your anchor points. These are the strong, reliable chains you can link your new habits to. So, instead of a vague goal like work on my channel, you create a specific habit stack. For example, after I pour my morning cup of coffee, I will open my script document and write one sentence. Or, after I finish eating lunch, I will spend 2 minutes brainstorming video ideas in my notebook. See how specific and actionable that is? The beauty of this is that your current habit becomes the reminder. You no longer need to rely on willpower or a notification on your phone. The act of pouring your coffee itself becomes the trigger. Your brain starts to form a connection. Coffee means it's time to write. Brushing your teeth at night means it's time to read one page about video editing. This process makes the beginning of your habit obvious and automatic. You're not trying to find time for your new habit. You're making time by integrating it directly into the flow of your day. It's a simple but profoundly effective way to engineer consistency. The key to making habit stacking work is choosing the right anchor habit. You need to be thoughtful about where you insert your new behavior. The first rule is that the frequency of your anchor habit must match the desired frequency of your new habit. If you want to work on your script every single day, you need to stack it onto something you already do every single day, like making coffee or brushing your teeth. It makes no sense to stack your daily writing habit onto something you only do once a week, like taking out the trash. The timing and frequency need to align perfectly for the connection to form in your brain. The second thing to consider is the context and location. You want to choose an anchor habit that puts you in the right physical and mental state to perform the next action. For example, let's say you want to build a habit of storyboarding your videos for 2 minutes. A great habit stack would be, after I sit down at my desk with my morning coffee, I will open my sketchbook and draw one frame. The location, your desk, and the context, settling in for work, are perfectly aligned with the new habit. A less effective stack would be, after I get out of the shower, I will storyboard for 2 minutes. The context is all wrong. You're not near your desk or your tools. Let's brainstorm some powerful stacks for a creator. How about this? After I turn on my computer for the day, the very first thing I will do is open my content calendar and review my top priority. This immediately focuses your attention before you get sucked into the black hole of email or social media. Or, try this. After I finish filming a video, I will immediately import the footage onto my hard drive. This prevents that pileup of SD cards and creates a seamless transition to the editing phase, or a simple one. Before I close my laptop at the end of the day, I will write down one idea for tomorrow's video. This tees you up for success the next day. I want you to take a moment right now and think about your own daily routine. Write it down, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. What are the things you do without fail every single day? Waking up, using the bathroom, getting dressed, eating meals, commuting, checking your phone. These are all potential anchor points. Look for a moment in that routine, a small pocket of time where you can insert your new 2-minute habit. Find the perfect link in your existing chain. This isn't about adding more to your plate, it's about being smarter and more intentional with the structure you already have. Even with the perfect habit stack, sometimes our brains need an extra nudge. We get distracted, our routine gets disrupted, and we forget. That's why the final piece of creating a powerful trigger is to make it as obvious and unmistakable as possible. Don't just rely on the mental connection. Create a physical visual cue that screams at you, "Hey, it's time to do that thing you said you'd do." This is about designing your environment to support your habits, something we'll talk about more later. But it starts with your trigger. You need to make your cue impossible to miss. Let's go back to our example. After I pour my morning coffee, I will write for 2 minutes. To make this trigger more obvious, what could you do? The night before, you could literally place your laptop and a notepad right next to the coffee machine. When you go to make your coffee in the morning, you physically cannot avoid seeing the tools for your next habit. The visual cue reinforces the habit stack. You're not just remembering to do it, you're being visually confronted with the expectation you set for yourself. It removes a layer of friction and mental energy required to get started. Let's apply this to other creator habits. If your stack is after lunch, I will brainstorm video ideas. Then leave your idea notebook open on the kitchen table where you eat. If your stack is before bed, I will review my YouTube analytics, then make the analytics page the default homepage on the browser you use in the evening. If your habit is after I get home from work, I will set up my camera gear, then leave your camera bag right by the front door so you practically trip over it when you walk in. You're using your physical environment to do the reminding for you. This isn't about being rigid, it's about being smart. You are designing a system for success that anticipates your own forgetfulness and laziness. You are making it easier to do the right thing and harder to do the wrong thing. By creating a specific habit stack and then reinforcing it with an unmissable visual cue, you are building a powerful two-part trigger system. The internal trigger, the preceding habit, and the external trigger, the visual cue, work together to launch you into action automatically. This is how you stop negotiating with yourself and start building the discipline of a pro creator. Alright, let's talk about that monster that lives under your bed, in your closet, and especially right there on your desk. Its name is procrastination, and it's a liar. It whispers to you that you're too tired, that you don't have enough time, that the task is too big, that you'll do it tomorrow when you feel more inspired. But here's the truth I want you to hear, right now. Tomorrow is a myth. Inspiration is not something you wait for, it's something you create through action. Procrastination isn't about being lazy, it's a defense mechanism, a way your brain tries to protect you from stress, from the fear of failure, or even the fear of success. It's a habit, and like any habit, we can break it. This is where my favorite tool comes in, a tool so simple, so effective, it feels like cheating. It's called the 5-second rule in my world, but for this specific application, let's call it the 5-minute rule. Procrastination wins in the moments of hesitation. You think about editing that video, and your brain immediately floods you with reasons not to. It's overwhelming. The trick is to interrupt that pattern before it takes hold. You have to outsmart your own brain. The moment you feel yourself pulling back, hesitating, or making an excuse, you are going to commit to just 5 minutes. That's it. 5 minutes. It's a ridiculously small amount of time, so small that your brain can't really argue with it. Think about it. Can you script for 5 minutes? Of course you can. Can you look for B-roll for 5 minutes? Absolutely. Can you open your editing software and just look at the timeline for 5 minutes? Yes. The goal here isn't to finish the task. The goal isn't even to make significant progress. The singular goal of the 5-minute rule is to start. That's the entire game. We are lowering the barrier to entry so low that it's almost impossible to say no. We are tricking our brain, which is trying to trick us, into taking that first, crucial step forward. It's a beautiful little piece of psychological jujitsu you can use on yourself. So, the next time you find yourself staring at your to-do list for your YouTube channel, feeling that familiar dread creep in, I want you to stop. Don't negotiate with the feeling. Don't argue with the excuses. Just tell yourself, okay brain, you win. I won't do the whole thing, I'll just do 5 minutes. Set a timer on your phone, and for those 5 minutes you give it your undivided attention. You just begin. What you're about to discover is that starting is, and always has been, the hardest part. Once you push that boulder even an inch, its own momentum starts to take over. This is how you beat procrastination every single time. So what happens after those 5 minutes are up? This is where the magic really kicks in. Sir Isaac Newton figured this out a long time ago. An object in motion stays in motion. Once you've started, once you've overcome that initial inertia, something incredible happens in your brain. You've broken the seal. You've proven to yourself that the task isn't as scary or as difficult as you built it up to be. More often than not, when that 5-minute timer goes off, you'll find that you don't actually want to stop. You've opened the file, you've written a few sentences, you've found a great clip. You're in it now. This is the power of momentum. Procrastination is a state of being stuck, of being stagnant. The 5-minute rule is the key that turns the engine. It's the initial push that gets the flywheel spinning. It's so much easier to keep going once you've started than it is to start from a dead stop. Think about your YouTube workflow. That feeling of dread before you start editing a long video is immense. But once you're an hour in, you're in the zone, you're making cuts, adding music, and time starts to fly by. The 5-minute rule is your personal on-demand portal into that flow state. It's the running start you give yourself. This isn't just a motivational trick, it's rooted in psychology. It's a concept known as the Zeigarnik effect, which states that our brains have a tendency to remember uncompleted tasks better than completed ones. By starting a task, even for just 5 minutes, you create an open loop in your mind. Your brain doesn't like open loops, it wants closure. So even after you stop, part of your brain will keep chewing on that task, making it easier to come back to later. You're essentially planting a seed that your brain will want to water and grow until the task is complete. You are using your brain's own wiring to your advantage. So, I want you to reframe this rule. It's not about forcing yourself to work. It's about giving yourself permission to start small. It's an act of kindness to your future self. You're not saying, I have to edit this entire 20-minute video right now. You're saying, I'm just going to open the project file and make one cut. That's it. You are honoring the resistance you feel, but you are not letting it win. You are negotiating a truce with your procrastination monster, and the term of that truce is 5 simple minutes of action. That's a deal you can win every single time, and it's how you build unstoppable momentum. The 5-minute rule is not a one-time fix. It's a new habit you need to build. It's a muscle that gets stronger every time you use it. The first few times you try it, your brain might still put up a fight. It might scream, "This is stupid, 5 minutes won't do anything." But you have to be the parent in the room. You have to acknowledge the feeling, and then gently guide yourself to the action anyway. The more you do this, the more you prove to your brain that starting isn't painful, the weaker that resistance will become. You are literally rewiring your response to procrastination. To make this a core part of your disciplined creator life, you need to practice it intentionally. Identify the specific tasks you always put off. Is it writing scripts? Is it responding to comments? Is it planning your content calendar? These are your primary targets for the 5-minute rule. When you see one of these tasks on your list, don't even let the debate begin in your head. Immediately as a reflex, say to yourself, okay, 5 minutes, that's all. Make it your default response to the feeling of wanting to avoid something. Turn it into an automatic process, just like brushing your teeth or making coffee. Think of this as your emergency escape hatch from the prison of procrastination. You're feeling overwhelmed? 5-minute rule. You're feeling uninspired? 5-minute rule. You're feeling tired and just want to scroll on your phone? 5-minute rule. It becomes your go-to tool for breaking the spell. What you're building is not just discipline for your YouTube channel, you're building self-trust. Every time you use this rule and successfully start a task you were avoiding, you send a powerful message to yourself. I am someone who does what they say they are going to do. That belief is the foundation of all long-term success. Eventually you won't even need the timer. The mental pathway will be so well worn that the impulse to start will be stronger than the impulse to hesitate. You will have fundamentally changed your relationship with work and resistance. You'll understand on a deep cellular level that action is the antidote to anxiety, and that starting is the secret to finishing. This simple, 5-minute commitment, when practiced consistently, will transform you from someone who waits for motivation into someone who creates it on demand. And that, my friend, is a superpower for any creator aiming for the top. Okay, let's get practical. Discipline isn't just about willpower. In fact, relying on willpower is a losing strategy. Willpower is a finite resource, like a battery that drains throughout the day. If you're constantly fighting temptations and overcoming obstacles, you'll be exhausted by noon. The smartest, most disciplined people in the world don't have more willpower than you. They just design their lives so they don't have to use it as often. They remove friction. They make the right choices the easiest choices. This is about being an architect of your own environment. Your surroundings should support your goals, not sabotage them. I want you to take a look at your workspace right now, your physical environment. Is it set up for you to win? When you sit down to film, is your camera ready to go? Is the battery charged, the SD card empty, the lighting in place? Or do you have to spend 20 minutes untangling cords, finding the battery, and clearing junk off your desk? Each one of those little steps is a point of friction. It's a tiny hurdle that makes it just a little bit harder to start. And when you're not feeling motivated, that little bit of friction is all the excuse your brain needs to say, forget it, I'll do it tomorrow. The same principle applies to every part of your YouTube process. If your goal is to write a script first thing in the morning, what does your environment look like? Is the first thing you see your phone, buzzing with notifications from Instagram and TikTok, or is it a notebook and a pen, laid out on your desk the night before? You have to make the desired action the path of least resistance. If you want to eat a healthy breakfast, don't hide the oatmeal behind the sugary cereal. Put the oatmeal front and center. We are fundamentally lazy creatures. We will almost always choose the easiest option available. Use that to your advantage. So, your mission is to become a friction detective. Go through every step of your content creation process, from brainstorming ideas to publishing the final video. Where do you get stuck? What frustrates you? What takes more time and energy than it should? Identify every single point of friction, no matter how small. Then ask yourself, how can I make this one step 1% easier? Maybe it's creating a template for your video descriptions. Maybe it's buying a second camera battery. Maybe it's simply closing all irrelevant tabs on your browser before you start writing. These small environmental tweaks add up to a massive reduction in the willpower needed to be consistent. Now let's talk about the biggest source of friction and distraction in the modern world. Your digital environment. Your phone and your computer are simultaneously your greatest tools and your greatest enemies in the battle for discipline. They are designed from the ground up by teams of brilliant engineers to capture and hold your attention. Every notification, every infinite scroll, every auto-playing video is a carefully crafted piece of friction designed to pull you away from your important work. You cannot win a war against these devices by relying on willpower alone. You have to change the battlefield. Start with your phone. Your phone should be a tool, not a toy, especially during your work blocks. Go through your apps and be ruthless. Is this app making you a better creator, or is it just stealing your time and focus? If it's the latter, delete it. I know that sounds terrifying, but you can always reinstall it later if you truly miss it. For the apps you need to keep, like email or social media for your channel, turn off all non-essential notifications. Every buzz, ding, and red badge is a tiny paper cut on your attention span. You need to reclaim your focus, and that starts with creating digital silence. The same goes for your computer. Your web browser is likely a minefield of distractions. Use browser extensions like Stay Focused or Freedom to block distracting websites during your designated work hours. You can set it up to block YouTube, the consumption side, not the creator studio, news sites and social media for a few hours every morning. This isn't about weakness, it's about wisdom. You are proactively removing the temptation so you don't have to waste mental energy fighting it. Create a clean, focused digital workspace. Close every tab and application that isn't directly related to the task at hand. Your brain will thank you for the clarity. Think of it this way, you are creating a sacred space for your creative work. When you enter this digital space, the distractions are gone, the temptations are removed, and the only thing left to do is the work itself. You've made being disciplined the easiest possible option. This isn't about restriction, it's about liberation. You are liberating your future self from the constant battle against distraction. By curating your digital world, you can serve your precious willpower for the things that truly matter, like coming up with great ideas and creating amazing videos for your audience. It's one of the most powerful shifts you can make. Removing friction isn't just about subtraction, it's also about automation. There are countless repetitive tasks in a YouTuber's workflow that drain your time and creative energy. Every minute you spend on a low-level, repeatable task is a minute you're not spending on high-level creative strategy or filming. The goal is to automate everything that can possibly be automated, freeing up your brain power for the work that only you can do. This is a form of environmental design that the most productive creators in the world use to their advantage every single day. Look for patterns in your work. Start by thinking about your editing process. Do you find yourself using the same title cards, the same lower thirds, the same end screens, and the same sound effects in every video? If so, you should be using templates. Spend a few hours creating a master project file in your editing software that has all of these assets preloaded and organized. When you start a new video, you just duplicate the template file. This simple act can save you 30 to 60 minutes of tedious setup time per video. That's time you can now spend on making the content itself better. Look at your social media promotion. Are you manually posting your new video to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and your email list every single time? This is a perfect candidate for automation. Use tools like Buffer, Later, or Zapier to schedule these posts in advance. You can write them all at once right after you finish your video, and then let the software handle the rest. This not only saves you time but also ensures you don't forget a crucial step in your promotion checklist. You're removing the friction of having to remember and manually perform these tasks, making your marketing more consistent. Finally, as your channel grows, the ultimate way to remove friction is to delegate. I know this seems like a distant dream for many of you, but it's important to have on your radar. What is the one task that you dread the most and are least skilled at? For many creators, it's editing or creating thumbnails. You can hire a freelance editor or designer on platforms like Upwork or Fiverr for a surprisingly affordable rate. Even delegating one small part of your process can free up enormous amounts of mental and creative energy. Removing friction is about building systems that make success inevitable, not just possible. Alright, let's talk about one of the most underrated keys to building discipline, making your progress visible. We are visual creatures. We need to see that our efforts are actually leading somewhere. When you're trying to build a new habit, like publishing a video every week, the reward can feel very far away. You might not see a big jump in subscribers or views right away, and that can be incredibly discouraging. It's easy to think, is this even working? This is where tracking your habits becomes your secret weapon. It provides the immediate feedback your brain craves. The simplest way to start is with a physical calendar. Get a big wall calendar and a red marker. For every single day that you complete your chosen habit, whether it's scripting for 30 minutes, editing for an hour, or hitting publish, you get to draw a big, satisfying X over that day. This method, popularized by comedian Jerry Seinfeld, is incredibly powerful. Your only job becomes don't break the chain. As you see that chain of X's grow longer, it becomes a visual representation of your commitment. You won't want to break it for anything, creating a powerful source of motivation. This isn't about judging yourself, it's about data collection. You are simply observing your own behavior. This act of tracking creates a positive feedback loop. You do the habit, you get to track it, which feels good and reinforces the habit, which makes you more likely to do it again tomorrow. It closes the gap between your action and the reward. Instead of waiting weeks or months to see results in your YouTube analytics, you get a small hit of dopamine and a feeling of accomplishment the moment you make that X on the calendar. This is how you stay in the game during the long, slow journey of building something meaningful. This visual proof is also a powerful antidote to the negative self-talk that can creep in when you feel like you're not making progress. Your feelings can lie to you. You can feel like a failure even when you're doing everything right. But the calendar doesn't lie, the chain of X's doesn't lie. You can look at it and say, no, wait a minute. I feel discouraged, but look at this. I've scripted for 14 days in a row. I am putting in the work. I am making progress. It separates your feelings from the facts, and in the world of discipline, facts are your best friend. The calendar method is fantastic, but it's not the only way. The most important thing is to find a tracking system that works for you and that you will actually use consistently. For some people, a physical system is best. It could be a dedicated notebook or a habit tracking journal. There's something very visceral and satisfying about putting pen to paper. You can get more detailed, tracking not just whether you did the habit but for how long, how you felt, and any ideas that came up during the process. This journal becomes a logbook of your journey as a creator. For others, a digital solution is a better fit. There are hundreds of amazing habit tracking apps out there like Streaks, Habitica, or TickTick. These apps can send you reminders, show you beautiful graphs of your progress, and even gamify the experience by giving you points or rewards for consistency. The key is to choose one. Set it up with the 1 or 2 key habits you're focused on building for your channel, and then integrate it into your daily routine. Maybe you review it every morning when you plan your day, or every evening before you go to bed. The tool itself matters less than the consistency of using it. Don't go overboard with this. This is a classic trap that perfectionists fall into. They create a beautiful, color-coded spreadsheet with 27 different habits they want to track, and then they get completely... Alright, let's get real for a second. We need to talk about the part of discipline that nobody puts on a motivational poster, the part that doesn't get the glamour shots on Instagram. I'm talking about the grind. I'm talking about the mundane, the repetitive, the downright boring parts of building something incredible. You think creating a successful YouTube channel is all about viral moments and explosive growth? Let me tell you, that's the highlight reel. The real work, the work that actually builds the foundation, happens in the quiet, unsexy moments of repetition. It's showing up to script when you'd rather binge watch a series. It's editing for the 100th hour when your eyes are burning. This is where discipline is truly forged. The fantasy we're sold is that passion and motivation will carry you through every single day. But that's a lie. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are fleeting. They come and they go like the weather. Discipline, on the other hand, is a choice. It's the deliberate decision to do the work even when the initial excitement has worn off, when the novelty has faded, and all you're left with is the task at hand. It's about understanding that the path to extraordinary results is paved with ordinary, consistent actions. You have to fall in love with the process, not just the prize. You have to find a sense of satisfaction in the simple act of showing up, day after day after day. This is what separates the amateurs from the pros in any field, including YouTube. The amateur waits to feel inspired. The pro gets to work regardless of how they feel. They understand that the magic isn't in some sudden burst of genius. It's in the compounding effect of doing the boring work consistently. It's in setting up the camera, checking the audio, and hitting record, even when it feels like the last thing on earth you want to do. It's the tedious task of keyword research, of analyzing your analytics, of responding to comments. None of this is particularly thrilling, but it is absolutely essential. You must learn to embrace the boredom as a sign that you're on the right track. So I want you to reframe this in your mind right now. Stop chasing the feeling of excitement and start embracing the power of monotony. The greatest creators you admire didn't get there because every day was a party. They got there because they mastered the art of doing the boring things over and over again until those actions became second nature. They showed up when it was hard, when it was tedious, and when no one was watching. That's the secret sauce. It's not about finding a way to make the work constantly exciting. It's about building the mental fortitude to do it even when it's not. Let's talk about the plateau. This is that terrifying place where you've been putting in the work. You've been consistent, you've been doing all the right things, but your growth stalls. Your subscriber count flatlines, your view count stagnates, and the initial momentum you had seems to have vanished into thin air. This is the moment where most people give up. They mistake the plateau for the end of the road. They think, this isn't working anymore, and they throw in the towel, convinced that their efforts are being wasted. But you are not most people. You need to understand that the plateau is not a sign of failure. It is a critical and necessary part of the process. Think of it like this. When you're building a skyscraper, you don't just build straight up into the sky, you build a floor, and then you have to spend a significant amount of time reinforcing that floor, laying the foundation for the next level. That reinforcement period is the plateau. It's where your skills are consolidating, it's where your habits are becoming deeply ingrained. You might not see the outward signs of progress, but underneath the surface, a powerful foundation is being built. You are becoming the person who can handle the next level of success. You are strengthening your resolve, your skills, and your systems. This is the unglamorous but vital work that makes future growth possible. During this phase, your brain is going to scream at you to quit. It's going to tell you it's pointless. That's your survival instinct kicking in, trying to conserve energy by stopping you from doing something that doesn't have an immediate reward. This is where your commitment to embracing the boring becomes your superpower. You have to trust the process. You have to keep showing up, keep filming, keep editing, keep uploading, even when the metrics aren't validating your effort. You have to have faith that the work you are doing working just in ways you can't see yet. This is a test of your character and your belief in the long-term vision. So when you hit that plateau, and trust me you will, I want you to smile. I want you to recognize it for what it is, a launching pad. It's proof that you've achieved a certain level of consistency and are now preparing for the next breakthrough. Don't get discouraged. Double down on your process. Focus on the inputs, not the outputs. Keep refining your craft, keep showing up for your audience, and keep doing the work. The plateau is where you earn your future success. It's the quiet before the next quantum leap. Don't you dare give up when you're this close to breaking through. Okay, so we've established that you have to embrace the boring, but that doesn't mean the entire process has to be a miserable slog. You can and you must find pockets of joy and satisfaction within the grind itself. This isn't about pretending that tedious tasks are suddenly fun. It's about shifting your focus to appreciate the journey of mastery. It's about celebrating the small wins that happen within the process. Did you figure out a new editing trick that saved you 10 minutes? That's a win. Did you articulate a complex idea perfectly in your script? Celebrate that. Did you simply show up and hit record on a day you felt zero motivation? That is a massive victory for your discipline. One powerful way to do this is to detach your sense of accomplishment from the outcome and attach it to your effort. You can't control the YouTube algorithm. You can't control whether a video goes viral or how many subscribers you get today. But you can control whether you stick to your filming schedule. You can control the quality of your research. You can control your commitment to improving your on-camera presence. When you start measuring success by your own actions, you take back your power. You create a system where you can win every single day, regardless of what the analytics say. This creates a sustainable loop of positive reinforcement that fuels your consistency. Another strategy is to ritualize the process. Turn the boring parts of your workflow into a cherished routine. Maybe you always make a specific type of tea before you start scripting. Maybe you listen to a particular playlist while you're setting up your equipment. These small rituals can transform a mundane task into a mindful practice. They signal to your brain that it's time to focus, creating a sense of comfort and control within the repetition. By romanticizing your routine, you're not denying the boring nature of the work, you're simply wrapping it in a package of intention and personal meaning, which makes it far more enjoyable to repeat over the long term. Ultimately, learning to love the process is about falling in love with the person you are becoming. Every time you do the boring work, you are casting a vote for your future self. You are becoming more resilient, more skilled, and more disciplined. The pride you feel from that transformation is a deeper and more lasting reward than any view count. So look for the beauty in the repetition. Find the satisfaction in the incremental improvement. Celebrate the effort, not just the result. When you learn to find joy in the journey itself, the destination becomes inevitable. You're not just building a channel, you're building character. Let's talk about something vertical bar that derails more dreams vertical bar than almost anything else. The relentless pursuit of perfection. You miss a day, vertical bar on your upload schedule, you film a video, vertical bar, and you hate the way you sound. You forget to do your habit vertical bar of scripting for 15 minutes. And what happens next? Vertical bar. The inner critic swoops in, vertical bar with the force of a hurricane. It tells you you've failed. Vertical bar. It says, see, I told you, vertical bar, you didn't have what it takes. You're not disciplined enough. Vertical bar. You might as well just give up now. This all or nothing thinking is a trap. Vertical bar. It's a lie that your brain tells you, and it is the enemy of progress. You have to understand vertical bar, this one simple truth, vertical bar, you are going to mess up. Perfection is not a realistic goal, vertical bar, it is a fantasy that keeps you stuck. The path to building discipline, vertical bar, is not a straight unbroken line. It is a messy, winding road. Vertical bar filled with detours, setbacks, and slip-ups. You will have days, vertical bar, where you are unfocused. You will have weeks, vertical bar, where you feel completely uninspired. You will publish videos that flop. This is not a sign of your inadequacy. Vertical bar. It is a non-negotiable part, vertical bar, of the human experience and the creative process. The goal is not to be perfect, vertical bar. The goal is to be resilient. The goal is to keep going, vertical bar. Despite the imperfections, your success will be defined, vertical bar. Not by your ability to never fall, but by your ability, vertical bar, to get back up quickly. This obsession with perfection, vertical bar, often masks a deeper fear, the fear of judgment, the fear of failure, the fear of not being good enough. So you procrastinate, vertical bar, telling yourself you're just waiting. Vertical bar for the right moment, or perfecting the idea, vertical bar, when in reality, you're just afraid to put yourself out there, vertical bar, and risk being imperfect. You must recognize this for what it is. Vertical bar self-sabotage. Holding yourself to an impossible standard. Vertical bar is a way of ensuring, vertical bar, you never have to fully commit, because you can always find a flaw. You have to give yourself permission, vertical bar, to be a beginner. You have to give yourself permission, vertical bar, to be messy and to learn in public. So I want you to make vertical bar a new rule for yourself, right now. The rule is vertical bar progress, not perfection. I want you to write it down, vertical bar, put it on a sticky note, vertical bar, on your monitor. Say it out loud. Your job is not to create, vertical bar, a perfect, unbroken chain of success. Vertical bar, from day one. Your job is to show up, vertical bar, do your best for that day. And when you inevitably stumble, vertical bar, because you will, to treat it as a data point. Vertical bar, not a disaster. The moment you release yourself, vertical bar, from the prison of perfection, you unlock the freedom, vertical bar, to actually move forward, vertical bar, and build something real. It's about being consistently good, vertical bar, not occasionally perfect. Okay, so we agree, vertical bar, you're going to slip up, vertical bar, it's going to happen. The question isn't if, vertical bar, it's when. So what's the game plan? Vertical bar for that moment. How do you stop a single setback? Vertical bar from spiraling into a full-blown crisis of confidence that makes you quit. I want to give you a powerful tool, vertical bar, a simple rule vertical bar that can change everything. I call it the forgive fast rule vertical bar, or you can think of it vertical bar as the 24-hour rule. The moment you realize vertical bar, you've messed up, you missed your workout, you skipped a filming day, you ate the entire pint of ice cream, you have exactly 24 hours vertical bar to get back on track. That's it, vertical bar. No exceptions. This rule is so effective, vertical bar, because it short circuits vertical bar, the shame spiral. When you make a mistake, vertical bar, the natural tendency vertical bar is to beat yourself up. You wallow in guilt and self-criticism. I'm so lazy. Vertical bar, I have no self-control. This negative self-talk, vertical bar, doesn't motivate you. Vertical bar, it paralyzes you. It makes it more likely, vertical bar, that you'll miss the next day. Vertical bar and the next because you feel like a failure. The 24-hour rule, vertical bar, interrupts this pattern. It gives you a tiny defined window, vertical bar, to feel disappointed, but it forces you to pivot, vertical bar, from blame to action immediately. It shifts the focus, vertical bar, from what I did wrong, vertical bar, to what I'm going to do next. Think about it, vertical bar. Missing one day of scripting, vertical bar, is not a big deal in the grand scheme of things, but letting that one missed day, vertical bar, convince you to miss the entire week. That is a big deal, vertical bar. That's how momentum dies. The damage is never done, vertical bar, by the initial mistake. It's done by the string, vertical bar, of bad decisions that follows. The 24-hour rule, vertical bar, is your emergency brake. It prevents one stumble, vertical bar, from becoming a complete fall, vertical bar, down the stairs. It contains the damage. It says, okay, that happened, vertical bar, it's over, vertical bar, the clock is ticking. What is the very next right action, vertical bar, I can take to get back, vertical bar, in alignment with my goals? So, let's make this practical. You were supposed to edit, vertical bar, your video tonight, but you spent 3 hours, vertical bar, scrolling on your phone instead. The old, you would go to bed, vertical bar, feeling disgusted with yourself. The new you acknowledges it, vertical bar, feels the pang of regret, and then immediately says, vertical bar. Okay, the 24-hour rule, vertical bar, is in effect. Tomorrow morning, vertical bar, the first thing I'm doing, vertical bar, is spending 30 minutes on that edit before I do anything else. You've acknowledged the mistake, vertical bar, forgiven yourself, vertical bar, and created an immediate action plan for recovery. This is not about, vertical bar, being soft on yourself. It's about being smart. It's about treating discipline, vertical bar, like a skill you're practicing, not a moral state, vertical bar, you've failed to achieve. Here's the most powerful part, vertical bar, about forgiving yourself fast, vertical bar, and getting back on track. Every setback is an opportunity. It's a lesson disguised as a mistake. When you stop beating yourself up, vertical bar, you create the mental space, vertical bar, to get curious. Instead of asking, vertical bar, what's wrong with me, you can start asking better questions. Why did I skip my habit today? Vertical bar, what was the trigger? Was I too tired? Vertical bar, was the task too overwhelming? Vertical bar, was there too much friction? This is not about making excuses, vertical bar, it's about gathering data. Every time you slip, vertical bar, you're being handed, vertical bar, a personalized roadmap for how to improve your system. Let's say you keep failing, vertical bar, to script in the evenings, instead of just trying to force it. Vertical bar, with more willpower, you investigate. You realize that by the evening, vertical bar, your decision-making energy, vertical bar, is completely depleted. The setback isn't a sign, vertical bar, of your laziness, it's a sign that your strategy is flawed. The lesson, vertical bar. Maybe you need to switch, vertical bar, your scripting time to the morning when your mind is fresh. Maybe you need to break the task down, vertical bar, into a smaller 10-minute chunk. The failure becomes a catalyst, vertical bar, for a smarter approach. You're not just bouncing back, vertical bar, you're bouncing back stronger, vertical bar, and more intelligently than before. This is how you build, vertical bar, anti-fragile discipline, a system that doesn't just withstand shocks, vertical bar, but actually gets stronger from them. When you treat every mistake, vertical bar, as a learning opportunity, you remove the fear of failure. You start to see stumbles, vertical bar, as a valuable part of the process, because you know they contain, vertical bar, the very information you need, vertical bar, to succeed long-term. This mindset shift is profound. It transforms you, vertical bar, from someone who is afraid, vertical bar, of making mistakes into someone who is eager, vertical bar, to learn from them. You become a scientist, vertical bar, in the laboratory of your own life, running experiments, vertical bar, and refining your methods. So from now on, vertical bar, I want you to reframe, vertical bar. Every single setback didn't hit your upload goal. vertical bar for the month. Vertical bar. Great. What did you learn? Vertical bar about your workflow and time management. A video. You worked hard on vertical bar, got very few views. Vertical bar fantastic. What can you learn? Vertical bar about your titles, thumbnails, vertical bar, or topic selection. Don't just forgive yourself and move on. Forgive yourself, vertical bar. Learn the lesson, vertical bar. Adjust your strategy, vertical bar, and then move on. This is the path to mastery. It's a continuous loop. Vertical bar of action, failure, forgiveness. Vertical bar and adaptation. This is how you build vertical bar, a discipline that is not only sustainable but that evolves with you. Vertical bar getting stronger with every challenge, vertical bar you face. Alright, let's bring it all home. We've covered a ton of ground today, so let's quickly recap the 7 ways to build discipline you need to win on YouTube and in life. Number 1, start tiny. Stop trying to boil the ocean and focus on one small, repeatable action. Number 2, set triggers. Link your new habit to something you already do every day. Number 3, use the 5-minute rule. Beat procrastination by committing to just 5 minutes of work. Number 4, remove friction. Make your good habits easy and your bad habits hard. Number 5, track your wins. Create momentum by seeing your progress. Number 6, embrace boring. Fall in love with the process, not just the prize. And number 7, forgive fast. Use setbacks as lessons to bounce back stronger. If you are serious about becoming more productive, about showing up for your goals, and about building a channel that you are proud of, these tips are not just nice ideas, they are your roadmap. They will help you develop discipline habits that last a lifetime, long after the initial burst of excitement fades away. If this video helped you, do me a favor and smash that like button, and make sure you subscribe for more tips on personal growth and building the life you deserve. And please, share this video with one person you know who is ready to make a real change. Let's help each other rise. I want to leave you with this one final thought, and I need you to really hear this. So many people think discipline is a cage, that it's about restriction and rules and taking all the fun out of life. But that is completely backward. The truth is, discipline is the key that unlocks your freedom. It's the force that allows you to build a life by design, not by default. Motivation is a feeling that will absolutely fade, but the discipline you build, one small action at a time, that is what creates a foundation of freedom for the rest of your life. You have everything you need to start right now. You've got this.